Hope you enjoy the day. It is my pleasure to now welcome to the stage our first speaker for the day, Professor Frances K. Lambkin of the CarerWell program. Thank you.
And welcome everybody to an event that I've been looking forward to, and I'm quite sure that you all have too. So I'm going to try to pass my first test of the day, and that is try to get the technology working. And given I work in technology, oh, there we go. No, we're good. We're away. I work with a wonderful team at the University of Newcastle and HMRI. And we're a team of social workers and psychologists and research assistants, and we're passionate about helping people whatever journey they happen to be on. And the context of our work is in mental health and alcohol and other drug use. And so I'm very privileged to be, I feel very privileged to be standing here as the front person for all these wonderful people that I stand behind. And privileged in a number of ways to be the spokesperson today for the CarerWell program. And I feel very privileged for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm relieved because at about 7:30 this morning, as I was madly trying to get ready and out of the door, our 10-year-old comes in naked, refusing to go to school, not wanting to get dressed. I'm trying to have a shower because I haven't had a shower for a couple of days because I haven't had time. And I'm going to try to find my undies and I can't find any clean clothes. I'm trying to dry my hair and our 14-year-old daughter's taken the hairdryer, I don't know where it is. And, and then I got the kids off to school, my hubby took the kids to school, and then I'm madly trying to race around. I was saying to Caitlin, I couldn't even find the armholes for this dress that I'm putting on today. And then eventually had to then spend another 5 minutes looking for my keys because my beautiful husband, who I adore, had used my car and hadn't put the keys back in the right spot. So all the things that I thought that I had set in place were somewhat derailed. So I sat in the car and felt a huge sense of relief that I finally made it into the car and was driving in. Because it could, this is the sort of stuff that we carry around as part of our life, and it's particularly Fridays in our family that this tends to happen. And then as I was driving in here, I was thinking about having the privilege of being part of this session today. And I was thinking, wow, when brain cancer moves into a family or into a partnership or into a home, none of that stuff goes away. You've still got to deal with all of that stuff and the mental load and the stress and all the stuff that goes along with that. And then on top of that, you've got to try to navigate a whole new scary world. New terms, new language, new appointments, new procedures, a whole host of new emotions, and not just in you as the patient, but your families, your partners, if you've got kids and grandkids. And you've got to add all of that to what is often already a very full life, and it can be a very scary thing. And so when we had the opportunity with the Mark Hughes Foundation to work on a program that tries to really help share the mental load associated with that journey, we absolutely jumped at the opportunity, and I'm really excited to be standing here today to deliver to you the outcomes of some of that work. So we have worked very closely with our wonderful brain care coordinators, with the Mark Hughes Foundation, with our community, to develop Australia's first online support program for families who have a loved one who is on a brain cancer journey. And when I say families, I'm taking a pretty broad description of families. It could be partners, you might have a father or a mother, you might have a grandfather or a grandmother, it might be your child or your babies who have cancer. So this is a program designed to try to augment and wrap around the wonderful services that you receive in real time and real space from our wonderful Mark Hughes Foundation brain care provider or coordinators, and hopefully extend a little bit of that reach to those times of the day or night where we might need that little bit of extra help. So it's my privilege today to be standing up here representing the program on behalf of all the giants who contributed to it, including our families who are on that brain cancer journey, and to take you very quickly through this project and this program. So we wanted to make sure we built the program based on the latest evidence. So for us, research and evidence can take a number of forms. It can be looking at what people have done before. And so we did that. We looked all over the world for what types of programs are available internationally to try to identify and pull out all the best bits, all the things that worked the best, not just in terms of the research outcomes that we might be interested in when we publish papers and do those sorts of things, but in producing the outcomes and the benefits that people who have a loved one on a brain cancer journey need the most. And so when we looked around and around, and we found 2 programs in the whole world. And there were some promising ones being developed, but we saw that there was a real gap in what's available. And certainly those programs that were available weren't accessible the world over. They weren't accessible any time of the day or night, and they certainly didn't seem to fit into some of the crazy schedule that I've talked a little bit about today, but then, that's life, but then fitting that in and around all the additional responsibilities and thinking that needs to go along when you're on your brain cancer journey. So we brought together people from the Mark Hughes Foundation community to help give us some lived experience research, so to find out from you all what it's actually like to have a loved one on a brain cancer journey and what your most pressing needs are. Because one of the things we found in the worldwide search that we did, sounds pretty grand, doesn't it? Searched all over the world online. We didn't fly all over the world. But in talking to people all over the world who developed these programs, they mainly focused their programs on self-care, which is really, really important. And you've probably heard the analogy, I hear it quite a lot, when you hop on a plane, you put your own oxygen mask on before you can help other people. So I think that's a really great concept. But what we were finding is when we were speaking to people with families on a brain cancer journey, this certainly happens in other areas as well, that's all very well, but sometimes having to make time in your day for self-care so you can help other people is quite exhausting and not really very practical. So we didn't want to just offer a self-care program or make families feel more guilty because they're not putting time into self-care at the same time. And also when we spoke to people, and with feedback from our wonderful Mark Hughes Foundation brain care coordinators, there was a real need to help produce really digestible information and facts and service navigation and all of those sorts of things to help prepare people, their loved ones and their families for the journey that is ahead. And so we tried really hard to bring together a program that does that. And so we did this via talking with people, with interviews, with synthesising the evidence and drawing on the expertise that's in the room. And of course, because we're researchers, we did some things that we thought were pretty meaningful, and they mean a lot in academia, but not all that much outside our ivory tower. But what we've managed to do is publish a couple of journal articles that we can share with you, because what they do is they talk in people's own words about what the experience is like to be have a person in who you love who's on a brain cancer journey, and also what the important and critical role is of our wonderful Mark Hughes Foundation brain care coordinators. So we can make those articles available, and if you're interested, maybe take some time to read some of the quotes in there and see whether that actually rings true for your experience. So now, not only does our team know how special Mark Hughes Foundation and our team is here in the room today, but now the whole world is starting to know and grow. And we're trying to talk a bit more on the radio and other sorts of things as well. But excitingly, all of that sort of stuff is pretty good for researchers' egos. We can say, I've got these publications in these papers. That makes me all very clever. But the most important thing, and the reason I was most excited and feeling privileged here today, is because today, for the first time, we're making CarerWell immediately available to anybody in the world, particularly in Australia, and first here in the Hunter, for you guys to access at any time of the day or night. And so, it's kind of an official launch without all the fanfare. On your tables in front of you, and perhaps in some of the packs you might take home today, you have a brochure. Inside that brochure, on the back of the brochure, is a really we didn't know if we were going to use QR codes, and then COVID hit and kind of changed the way we viewed QR codes on the back. You can scan that code and get immediate access to the CarerWell program. And you can make a look, you can log in, you can explore the site, you can give it to friends, you can have a look at it yourselves any time of the day or night. It's there. And so really, really encourage you to do so. So why might you? Well, I'm going to take a little bit of time. I do rant on a little bit, but I'll be very, very quick. What are the things that we think are in there that might appeal and hopefully reflect our feedback from you all about a program of this nature? Well, the program works in a couple of ways. So it has a section on it that contains information, contains fact sheets, contains advice. We've developed what we're calling a jargon dictionary, so a dictionary of all these words and terms that people are likely to hear at various parts of the brain cancer journey, and try to interpret from our perspective what that means, do a bit of definitions. You guys helped a lot with that as well. You're also able to tailor the provision of information and the pathway you take through the program based on where you currently are on your journey or your family's journey with brain cancer. We have a lot of resources on there and a bit of a service navigation function. So again, we worked really hard to scope in Australia, locally and also internationally, the resources and services and tools that are available to support families and partners who have a loved one on a brain cancer journey and patients themselves, so that you've got right at your fingertips a bit of a directory of all the things that you might possibly want or need to support your journey with brain cancer. And the great thing is we can add to it all the time. So if you come across a great service that you might want to share or that's worked for you, or even one that's on there that doesn't work anymore or that you had a somewhat other experience with, there's an opportunity for you to email us and let us know, or enter your service on the site to make sure that you're represented. And so again, you can do a bit of your own sort of Google search on our site and look for using the search terms that are meaningful for you, and you'll get a list of services that are available to you. And then if you're ready, and when you're ready, and it might be in the middle of the night, it might be a quiet time, there's a 3-module program in there that's just for you. The supporter, the family member, the partner, the mother, the father, the grandparent, the person who's supporting the loved one with brain cancer. And that program has 3 components to it. One on coping with stress and crisis, one on living with uncertainty, and a mindfulness lounge, which is building some skills and some strategies to help you with self-care. So that's for you, just for you when you're ready. And what we hope as a package this platform will do is share a bit of the mental load. We hope we've picked people's brains a little bit to understand what the needs are and what the wants are. And hopefully this helps to have done a little bit of the thinking for everybody about what might be needed and when. And we've tried to build in some algorithms behind the program so that you get presented with the information that we think you need at the time you need it. And of course you can play around and tailor that. And so what we hope with CarerWell is that you'll find it valuable. For the people who participated in the research and helped us develop this tool, thank you firstly, but we hope we've honoured that experience and that you find something there that meets your needs. And you know what, if you don't, please let us know, because we'd like to make sure that it does. So please get in contact with us via the CarerWell site if there's anything missing, if there's anything that you need changed, or if there's anything that we can do to help share that mental load and that journey with you when we're not in the room with you to do so. So that's all I wanted to say today. Thank you so much again to all the people who've helped us build this CarerWell program. We hope we've done you justice, and we hope that it helps support and extend the reach a little bit of our wonderful Mark Hughes Foundation Brain Care Coordinators. And if any of it doesn't meet your needs or your expectations, then please don't hesitate to let me know, because we don't want to be right, we actually want everyone to be happy and to feel supported. Now egos are out the room. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And thank you for this privilege of being able to stand up here today and communicate to you about something that we're very passionate about and are very proud about. Thank you.